probably won't throw an opening statement out. We'll just open it up here.
All right, Coach, we're just 2 days into this, but what are you seeing from the offense so far?
Well, I think we picked up where we left off in the spring as far as knowing what's going on. It's good to have the new faces involved, the incoming freshmen, the transfers that we added over the summer for the first time. But I see a team that is on pace for where I think we would hope to be right now as far as understanding, recognizing a lot of things to get better at. Every day you walk out there on the field, there's good, bad, and there's ugly. And our job is we're fighting to purge the ugly, correct the good, and correct the bad and make it as much good as we can.
Brett has been really effusive in his praise of the quarterback room. I guess what do you see just top to bottom in that room?
Well, I see, it's an interesting room, and I mean that in a positive way. Like, if you look at the room and you see the different backgrounds of where the guys have come from, where they grew up, the different college experiences, high school experiences, different sport experiences, it's got some unique qualities in that regard. And it's been fun for me to see and to watch those guys become close and earn each other's trust and respect, because that's definitely there. And they all want to be the guy, or we wouldn't want to be in that room. They all want to be the guy, but they all understand that there's only so many reps that go around, and that their job is iron sharpens iron, and they just get better when their opportunity presents itself. But those guys have done a nice job of encouraging each other, making plays when it presents itself, and certainly all of them have things that we've got to get corrected.
What's different for Luke now compared to spring, and what do you want to see from him?
Yeah, I think the big thing with Luke is he's understanding what our brand of play is and what it feels and looks like, and it's different. And that doesn't mean it's just a different kind of contrasting style from where he came from. It's not like polar opposites, but there's some nuances that are different, and so I think getting used to Coach B and getting used to me, and I see him taking steps forward in his comfort in that level, and he's very intellectual, very very in tune with what we're doing offensively, and all those guys are. But Luke's had a lot of experience in meeting rooms and very tuned into what we're doing.
Brett mentioned that too. It's just a difference. What is the difference of what he's going through?
Well, we have a different way of doing things. It doesn't mean it's better or worse, it's just different, right? I mean, we have a different way of where you're in a program somewhere, you work in a program for a few years, and you get indoctrinated to a certain way of belief, of culture, the way you treat people, the way you play the game, the way your offensive mentality is, and defense, whatever, all those nuances. And so it's just understanding, hey, here's how we play. The style of play is going to be a curve for him as far as like the conference, right? He's used to the SEC. It'll be different for him. So there's a lot of nuances there that are different for him. But at the end of the day, when you peel it all back, it's 11 on 11. It's about being in charge as the quarterback and making plays and taking care of the football.
When you heard that Isaiah Adams and Julian were coming back, give me your reaction.
Oh boy, I tell you what, that was a great victory for us, and that was internally that was I wouldn't say a scary time, but it was kind of a sobering time for us to think, two guys that we thought were probably potentially coming back, and the kind of worm had turned a little bit where maybe we were thinking they weren't, and so then to get the word that they were was I think really in my mind as a coordinator, a boost of confidence that I think, if I felt it, I know our team felt it and our offense felt it, of guys that have played good football, that are coming back, that are big guys, that are physical. And I think it's really, I think that move is turn out to be really critical for our team and our offensive identity.
How important is that for you guys to have that bedrock on the left side of the line with those two?
Well, we'd love to have it everywhere, obviously, but to have two guys that played side by side for the bulk of the season last year, and the peaks and valleys of the season, and that are good players, I think can help elevate. If Josh is in center, it helps his play, right? It helps the right side. It helps the tight end on that backside that's on the left. So I think, that continuity and having those guys, it's one thing to have continuity when guys are, maybe not, I'm not saying that in any comparison to what we have here. I'm just saying in my years past, you may have continuity of guys coming back that you may not necessarily, you might be looking to try to figure out how to replace, and now you've got continuity of two really good players that are going to help elevate the play of the line.
On the other side, how are things shaking out with the right side? Is Zy playing
Good.
guard or tackle?
He's doing a little bit of both, yeah. Early on in camp, he did all last year, played guard for us. We knew when he came in, he would have guard tackle value. So I think there's a lot of flexibility there with some guys like Zai and Getsky and Jordan Slaughter and even Barlove and then Brandon Henderson. So there's a lot of I wouldn't say plug and play value there, but there's a different. I look in our film and Bart and Coach B really managed that for the large degree. Obviously, I'm tuned into it, but right now we're moving guys around, resting a guy, putting a guy here, and so I have confidence in whoever we put out there, whoever earns the right to be out here or be out there at Illinois as part of our 5 linemen. I think we got a great deal of faith and trust that they're going to do the job.
What leads you to believe the tight ends can take that next step and become a more impactful part of your offense, not only in the pass game, obviously, but in the run game and what you guys want to do there too?
Well, I think Tip will play his best football that he's played to this point this year. I'm very confident in that. I thought he played good football last year at times, and then Henry and Griffin and some of the young guys they're doing better. But I'm confident because they've got talent and they've got character, right, and intelligence. All of those have that interwoven. Those 3 are about check all the boxes that you want from a guy to be productive. And so then schematically, I think we're doing some things, and as we transition to year 2, I think we're doing some things that will help maybe maximize some of their strengths. So I think that could show up more schematically when you start touching the ball. So the game runs through, and offensively it runs through that tight end position, meaning the C-gap control and the element that they bring. We believe in tight ends. We want them involved in the game, and then once they can control that in the run game, then it opens up some nice opportunities for putting people in conflict in the passing game.
What gives you that confidence in Tip?
Oh, just about him playing his best. I think just my years of experience, being in coaching and watching guys, just become that their best towards their end, and his give a care factor is so strong, and he's so vested in this team. He's obviously super mature and he's just a different breed in that regard, and I think he's so driven that I don't think he's not going to play his best football because that's what he set his mind on doing.
You've got 4 receivers that caught at least a couple passes with Hank, but then the 3 obviously more. But what do you need from the rest of that group that maybe fill out kind of what you want or need from that?
Yeah, ideally, you guys know we would like to play with some level of pace. We're not trying to be the fastest team in America. That's not our motto around here. But we are trying to play with some pace and are trying to put stress on defenses by being a no huddle, up tempo team. And if that's the case, some of our more efficient games last year, we were in the upper 80s in plays per game, and it's hard to ask 3 guys, or 4 guys to play 80 plays at a torrent pace and maximize those. So you need a whole new 3, you got to have 6 or 7 guys to be efficient, to have a good, strong group, if not more. And so I think George has done a tremendous job. Obviously I wasn't privy to being the year before here, but just to watch and hear about the transition of maybe the depth and the competition in that room has really, it continues to take strides, and we did it again this offseason with the guys we've added. And so we're looking for a few of those new guys to show up and to see they're starting to emerge already, and that's the beauty of fall camp. You're always going to find a guy or 2 that emerges that you weren't sure was going to. And we're off to a good start in that regard. So I'm excited about that room.
You need front runners for 5, 6, and 7 in the rotation?
Well, I think there's so many. If you watch practice, you would see a lot of those guys being involved in there. But obviously, Sean and Canary and Ashton all were involved in that last year, as well as Keon Battle. Then you add the new faces with Colin, and you got Colin, and you have obviously Malik, and now you have Alex. You have a whole new. So it's like that competition is real in that room, and there's a lot of reps to go around right now. So as far as front runners, I think the guys that are returning, have a leg up because they know the offense very well and this system, and you can tell that they're comfortable there. But the young guys have done a great job of learning and catching that pace up and letting really it's about getting to the point where your unnatural ability can be unlocked without thinking too much. And I think those guys, all the newcomers, are on a quick pace to be able to do that.
Coach, when you subtract a elusive guy like Chase Brown, is that ever a ripple effect in terms of how you plan to move the football, play calling, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we're going to be different, right? We've talked about that. But I tell you what, Reggie and Josh both have their unique qualities as running backs. Caden and Jordan Anderson and Aiden. These guys all have unique running styles that are different. Chase had a style that was unique to him that had strengths, and like every player, a limited amount of weaknesses. There wasn't many weaknesses there with Chase, but their style. So it's our job to build that within their style and their strength. And I think I'm very confident in understanding who those guys are and how they fit, and they fit perfectly in what we're doing. It might look a little different, but to your point about elusiveness, like Chase made a lot of things happen on his own. We also made a lot of good runs when we covered people up and moved them off the line, and so we expect those guys to be able to make a guy miss, and not just get what they can get. And if we'll do that, and if we'll do that, we'll be fine.
So you ever have a bigger trio than Josh, Jordan, and Caden in terms of running back?
No, I haven't. They're big. They're very big. I mean, and they can run. I'm excited about it. It's a different. Yeah, I mean, those guys are big, and they're huge. They're big, and Thad's done a great job with them. I'm telling you, those guys have gotten better every day, and they're getting more comfortable in our stem. I'm looking forward to seeing us run with in the scrimmage and the pads, and seeing those guys how they've emerged in the off season with their time with Tank. But we got big backs and we got big line, and that's good and conducive to the running game.
Coach Andrew told us yesterday about the birthday for his daughters. You're a parent. If you had advice for him, or what do you think about that whole thing?
Oh man, there's nothing like it. I mean, for anybody that has children, I mean, there's nothing like it. And like, you guys know Aaron, as jovial and as good-hearted and fun as he is. Like, I mean, we all knew that, knowing him, known him for a long time now, because he was with us at Arkansas when I was with Coach B. I mean, you knew that he was gonna, he was gonna be a great husband and a great father, because he's so passionate about whatever he's invested in. And so, camp's the time where you're lagging in sleep a little bit. I think the only way to lag and sleep more and being in college football camp is to welcome twins into the world, So he's got a lot of adrenaline and a lot of energy. But man, we're so happy for him, and there's no doubt he's going to be a fantastic dad to those girls.
Brett has said that he wants Jim Leonard to touch all three phases.
Yeah.
How do you envision him being able to help you?
Oh yeah, he's already helped. Jim and I have formed a great relationship in quick fashion. He was dabbling here, just he visited, I think, just a little bit in the spring, and then the summer just a little bit, just to kind of to give it some insight. But like Jim can and will provide an insight to not only us, who we are offensively, but out in front of who we're about to play, that is unique to anybody that on our side of the ball. Me, Bart, George, Thad, Robbie, and all of the guys that support us, which we got a great group of coaches that support us on that. But he adds a perspective that, that nobody can see. I mean, he's already brought up some things to me about like the week one opponent or whatever, like that I would, just honestly, I would never, not even have privilege of knowing some of that insider detail. Probably similar to where if an offensive coaches was over there, to provide some insight into the offenses, So I think he's going to be a tremendous help. Already has been. But I'm really excited about working with him as he works with our football program to enhance what we're doing and getting us ready to play.
Coach, how do you improve in the red area? Is it a matter of the packages that you're sending out there, or more focus in practice?
Yeah, I think it's everything. I think it's anything you could probably list off. It probably is. There's probably truth in it being a little bit of everything. It's a little bit like putting our guys in better positions, right? It's about execution. About taking the opportunities. It's a mindset. It's about practice. Like, we started there the first 3 days. We got day number 3 tonight, and we haven't been anywhere other than inside the 25-yard line. And it's a big deal to our program. There's a lot of reasons we do that, but we got to be better in the red zone. I mean, everybody knows that. Our program, our offensive football team, obviously understands that. That was one of the areas of shortcomings last year. But even though there were failures, like, to Coach's point, like he's referenced this several times about just the big pictures, like we're going to use that for experience and fuel and knowledge to help prepare us for this year. And so we're just going to keep chipping away at it and understanding how we got to execute the play calls. It's a limited field space, but we've got to have more touchdowns than field goals down there in the season.
What did Donovan and John brought to that competition?
Well, I really like where Donovan is progressing. Like, he's been here a year now, and it seems like a lot longer than that, but it's only been a year now. And to see his progress physically, emotionally, or mentally, I would say, and the way he's a great deliverer of the football. He really is. And I really like where Donovan's at right now. Super consistent, super steady. And then, John, we've talked to him about him at length as well. Like, you know, he is a fantastic competitor and leader, and a bulldog. You know, he's made his way in college football by being an underdog and playing with a chip on his shoulder, and that's what fuels and drives him, and it's infectious. And you know, that continues to show up every day for him when he's out there on the field.
Seeing you and Art kind of attached to hip a little bit, what have you seen about his approach diving into this new maybe chapter for him, and where can he go?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new chapter, and I'm not, you know, he's already writing books, I think. You know, I mean, this guy, he's figuring it out in a hurry. He really is. I mean, and Coach, you know, I remember when I first took the job, Coach called me and told me, when we first talked, he was telling me about the room, you know, and he was just like, man, this guy is unbelievable. Like, this guy, I mean, he's a coach's dream, and obviously that held to be true when I got here about who he is and the way he goes about his work. And it's been really, really fun, really fun for me seeing that relationship transition from me coaching him to now him working alongside with me. And that's really pretty rare it's not rare that a player turns into GA, but like we've thrust him into a role that's meaningful, and you know, and he has great value in what he sees in recruiting and how he helps on the field and special teams. Like he's gonna, it's a very cliche-ish, you know, so I feel like I'm not doing it justice when I say it, but he is a special talent in this profession, and we've got a lot of young coaches that are going to be stars as well. It's not just Art, but I can only speak for my direct relationship with him and what he's brought to the table. And in a quick fashion, he's earned our trust from that perspective. Already had it on the other side of the fence. Now he is here in the walls, and he's going to be a great one.
Malik Elzey was a very prized, heralded recruit. What skill package does he bring?
Well, he's very large. He's got great, big, strong hands. He's strong. He's naturally strong. You know, he's hungry, you know, and I mean, those are all good qualities. And it's just like any other young player, like, okay, he's got to be patient, chip away at it. Hopefully by the end of camp, he's getting to where he can, you know, he's in a position to understand everything that's going on. But he's already flashed as well as the other receivers. But Malik, I mean, I think what we thought we were going to get in him, I think that's going to hold true, you know, as long as he continues to work and develop and, you know, all the things that are required on his end. But he's the arrow's up on him, as well as with Colin and with Alex, and excited about all those guys.